it's time to make this hole again. So in the last video, I put this bit back together. Of course, that doesn't work without it all being whole. This video is about building one complete Roland R-8. This is the better of the two chassis that I've got. So that's the target chassis. But first we have to work out which of the two displays works with which board. And once we do that, then we can put the whole thing back together again. So here's one of the displays, which is obviously not connected to the machine itself. And then the other display is still installed in this particular chassis. So I just need to find out which board works, because I know both displays work, because we established that for earlier in the video series. And then we can put it all back together. So let's crack on with that one. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. So for the purposes of this test, what I'm going to do is jury rig the power into this board, and then I will plug it into this display, and if it all fires up, job good. We know that this board is the right one. If it doesn't fire up, I'll try it on the other board, which is slightly off camera. You can't see it at the moment. And if that one works, then we'll plug it into that one. And that will then go into this frame or this case, and hopefully we will have, by the end of this video, a working R8. So, what do I need first? I need power supply. Yeah, one power supply. Okay, so this is the power supply for the R8. Gives out, was it plus or minus 15? I think this is. No, actually, it's plus or minus 10. I tell a lie. This is a plus or minus 10. It's a bit of a strange power supply, and somebody commented on one of the videos earlier with my face away from screen. But somebody commented earlier that Roland just went through this period of building machines with weird power supplies. And I suspect actually the reason why they went through periods of building machines with weird power supplies is that different teams built the machines. It plugs in like so. There's no power on it at the moment, by the way. And then we need to plug the display in. So I've got to remember how to do this. Where does the display plug in? If I remember correctly, the display goes in here. And it goes in around. So there's the display. So there's the board. There's the display. Hopefully you can see that on camera. And if I go, might help if I switch the power on. Right, if I go like that. That board has got a fault on it. Right, let's switch everything off. So, remove that display from this board. Take power off this board. Like so. Grab the other board. Bring that over. On the board. Plug in the display, like so. Power over here. And that one is working fine. Now that actually is the other way around, because I was expecting that not to work fine and that one to work fine, but this is the later revision. So all is good. We know that this board and this backplate need to go into that chassis. Right, job done. Put this one to one side. We can get on rebuilding the Roland R-8. I'm not sure where I got to yesterday, and yes, the continuity editor has failed in that I'm now in a red t-shirt, not a yellow t-shirt. But when I came to look at this top piece, which is where all the buttons are, I realised that the bar at the bottom, which goes along the bottom of this area here, is basically screwed down like that, was as rusty as what's it? It wasn't as bad on this unit as it was on the other unit. The other unit was really rusty. So I kind of decided to stop at that point and basically sand that down and respray it. So that's what I did. And that's what the next bit of the video is just going to cover. This was a little bit unexpected. I wasn't expecting these two to be in such a bad state. Now these actually are on the lid, but as you can see, the better of the two has a little bit of rust on it, but this one is absolutely dreadful. So we're going to have to deal with that. I'm going to do it off camera because you've seen me sand this down on the back plate. So we'll do it there. So anyway, the original plan was I was just going to put this back together. And then I thought, well, I've taken that out and I've resprayed it. So that's now resprayed. So it's no longer grey, it's now resprayed black, but that should stop any rust coming through on that in the future. And, you know, as I said in a previous video, I'm pretty sure I've said it in a previous video or previous excerpt for this video, it was kind of, I know it was there, therefore I'm going to fix it. Because other people have just said, leave it, don't worry about it. I can't do that. I know it's wrong, so I've got to fix it. Anyway, so that's that done. But then it made me look at this, and this, I'm not quite sure this comes up on camera, but it's actually quite dusty and dirty inside. Now, the funniest thing about this is, well, I say funniest, but the thing about this is this, since I took it to pieces some time ago, has actually been stored in a box. So the box has been closed, the lid has been closed, and it's still got dusty and dirty. So the question really is, am I going to leave it like that, or should I at this point decide, you know what, I'm just going to give the unit a service? And I kind of thought about it, and then I thought about it some more, and then I decided, yeah, I'm going to do that. So overnight I've decided I'm going to actually service this, just give it a clean up, and then just gently clean the pads that are in the unit. So that of course means that I've now got to take this unit to pieces. Shouldn't take me that long. I know what I'm doing. I will just take a few photographs as I go. But now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to strip this down, and once I've stripped that down, I'm going to clean it. And all I'm going to do is clean it in a bowl of soapy water, just to get rid of the dust and the grime that's in here. Then I will clean the contacts on the pads very quickly, and then I'll put it all back together. And that will be the outcome of this video. And the next video, I'll put it back together. So let's crack on. Now, some of you may be wondering why I haven't put all those screws in my BitShip box like I did on a previous video. The simple reason is I don't intend for this to be taken to pieces for very long. I expect it to be put back together quite quickly. So therefore I can just leave them on the bench for the time period in sort of kind of the order of That's for that circuit board. That's for the display. That's for the bit that takes the damage, which is this set of buttons, and that's for the strip that goes along the bottom. So now I have a empty shell, and I'm just going to go and wash this in the sink. So off camera, cleaned all that up, just using soapy water, which I said what I was going to do. Now we've got this pad, which is the stripe pad, and it's a bit icky. So all I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to give it a wipe over with IPA. It's kind of like a rubberized compound on top of a sealed compound. I don't really want to interfere with it too much. I just want to get the surface dust off it, if I'm brutally honest. So just a little bit of IPA. I'm going to wipe it over. Just get rid of the indentations that are on this. I don't know whether you can see that on camera, but there are actually, you can see the sort of like the black marks from where the pads have struck it. And all I'm doing is just getting rid of those. And that's it. That's all I'm doing to that. Hopefully that is good. So now what we have to do is start putting it all back together again. So we'll start with this pad. Like that. Put this back in. We can start reassembling. So I'm going to start with this bar here that goes in here. Outside, 4 screws. Just like that. And I'm going to continue. Okay, the only reason I'm raising that on something is so that when the buttons, when it's on the deck, the buttons are pushing up, and I don't want to put any more. I just want to make it show the buttons are lying flat, so when I put the screws in, I don't have to force them. And again, one of my top tips in this sort of area is if the screw doesn't feel like it wants to go into the hole, and these are self-tapping screws, but there will be a hole there already. So if you, and a thread in the plastic, you don't want to really recut the thread in the plastic. If you wind it backwards, as in turn the screw the wrong way, it will quite often relocate into the original thread, and then it's very much easier to put the screw in. So there you go, there's that screw in, and those pads are in. Now those buttons will only go in one way, okay, because of the way that the buttons are aligned. You need to be really careful that you don't break things like there's a sort of like little plastic linking piece here. Try to keep that intact, and also try to keep the buttons, because it's kind of thin membrane that they're on, so you want to try and just keep them intact when you put it all back together. Just quick inspection of the tack switches. Nothing there looks like it needs cleaning. In fact, actually it's very clean in terms of what it's been doing. So we'll put this back in, and again this will only go in one way because it has to fit round that. So it goes in like so. Just let me check my photograph. Now here's another one of my OCD moments, is when you're tightening these screws up, when you're going into a plastic hole that's been created with the self-tapping screw, you don't want to over tighten the screw. So that it's kind of like, how do I explain it? It's kind of like, as soon as you get that resistance, that's tight enough. As long as the circuit board or whatever it is secured down, when you get that resistance point, that's good enough. You don't want to over tighten, because you then run the risk of stripping the thread. So with the plastic shield, all I'm doing is just rubbing it over with some IPA just to make sure there's no dirt and grease on it. Like so. And there was some dirt on there because it's come off on the cloth. So there you go. Worthwhile doing that little exercise. Back in. So there you have it. The piece of work I wasn't expecting to do, but I thought it would probably, while I'm doing this, I might as well have done it, which is strip down all the lid components, clean them and put them back in. So that's all now good to go. It's all nice and clean in there. So we can actually then now think about putting the backplate in, which will be the subject of the next video. And on that note, live long and prosper. See you later. Bye bye.